close to me. Many challenges that burden me. My heart center shines and calls to me. This is who I choose to be. Sometimes lessons.
Welcome to the Vibrational Alchemy Podcast. This is Penny Fisher, and we are so glad you are joining us for this week's episode. Hello, beautiful souls. It's so good to be with you as always. We are here for, I know I say this every week, but I can't believe we are at episode 41 today. And I am hoping that you are all navigating the energies of the Lionsgate portal with as much balance and ease as you can. The Lionsgate was on August 8th. I know we're 10 days in, but the energy of the portal will run for about 2 weeks after, maybe even more. The energies have been different, more expanded and more powerful in the last year or so. I have felt it. A lot of people I know have felt it, and my amazing astrologer says that she's finding when she does readings for people, especially solar returns, so reads people's natal charts for the upcoming year, she's finding that the energy that would normally kick in right around people's birthdays is actually starting to run anywhere from 2 to 3 months prior. So we're definitely in a huge shift, which means you can be feeling a lot of this. It's not even residual anymore, but the energy of this Lionsgate portal, which was huge. And at least for me, it's kicking my butt for sure. I am feeling a lot of fatigue, lack of motivation, heaviness. So remember, just a gentle reminder to use your tools. Breathe, get outside for walks in nature if you can. If not, get grounded, right? Make sure you feel your roots every day going down into the earth and feel the energy of the earth. Listen to your body, and as much as you can, honor what it needs. If you need to nap, and you can do that. If you need to get moving and do some stretching and release some stuff out of your body, then do that for sure. Okay. So all of that conversation about the heaviness that at least I'm experiencing leads us into today's topic, which came about, as always, through a conversation with a very, very dear and beloved friend of mine who does not see the world the way that I do. We really have different views about the way the world is and or should be, right? And we were talking recently about this idea of integrity, especially in the context of everything that's going on in the political world right now, at least here in the U.S. And of course, no accidents. I had picked up a book by Gay Hendrickson called The Big Leap. And literally a page into the reading I was doing that day, there's a whole section on integrity. And when that happens, I know I'm supposed to share it with you and unpack it with you. So as I was talking about this with colleagues and friends and my teacher, I really was able to feel deeply and understand the extent to which a lot of what we are feeling and experiencing right now at this time is it is due to this attack on the energy of the divine feminine. Now, I do a much deeper dive into this idea of divine masculine and divine feminine in an earlier episode. I think it's episode 11, so you can check that out. But in a nutshell, the divine feminine energy is one that manifests as creativity, as flow, as um, there's a strength in the gentleness. It's um, it honors the process and knows it's heading toward an outcome, a product, but isn't concerned with that. And the divine masculine is the energy that holds the container for the divine feminine and then knows when to say to the divine feminine, okay, you've got what you need. Now let's move into action, right? And when these two energies are in balance, the divine masculine trusts her stillness, her creativity, her gestation. She, the divine feminine, trusts the divine masculine when he says, okay, now it's time to go. And that's the balance. These energies, my friends, exist within every one of us. This is not about gender or sexual identities. This is about energetics. Okay. And we all have them both, and we want them to be balanced. And so what we're feeling right now, I believe, is the process of coming back into balance after centuries of the divine feminine having been repressed and oppressed by what Alana Fairchild calls the unconscious masculine. And there's an unconscious feminine too, make no mistake. And whenever there is an imbalance, and we've seen it out in the world, those of us who are tuned in and sensitive, empathic, and believe me, my darlings, if you're listening to this, you are one of us for sure. When there is that kind of imbalance out in the world, we feel it really, really, really deeply. And it's that lethargy, it's that fatigue. And I don't know about all of you, but old stuff is coming up for me. And it's places where not only has the divine feminine been repressed, but my unconscious feminine has come to the surface now and wants to be looked at and loved back into balance, right? And so this little pathway that we went on is now going to lead us back to this idea about integrity. And the reason I want to unpack this with you is not for the reason that you think. I think it's really, really important for us to understand or to be willing to look at where we are in integrity within ourselves and where we can move even more deeply into that space of integrity. Because when we do that, we come into alignment with the vibration of pure source energy, the vibration of unconditional love. And that's who each one of you are. When we can do that, we are able to send that vibration out into the world. And by doing that, we can hold the space for real change to happen, for deep and systemic and sustainable change to come about in the world, not by judging others, not by taking a side, not by telling people what they should or shouldn't do or believe or say, but by doing our own deep inner work. And believe me, I am 100% a work in progress. because I want some days to just shout from the rooftops and tell everybody, just knock it off and like play nice together in the sandbox, right? But it is not your job to change anybody or anything. It's not possible. Remember, in the world of the quantum, and this is science now, my darlings, in the world of the quantum, what you focus on creates your reality. And so if you focus on that which you do not want, you are actually feeding it energy. And it's my personal opinion that in these next few months, as we make our run up to November in this country, that this is our big work now, is to stay focused on what we do want. If we are angry, if we are judgmental, we are actually amplifying that out in the world. It's counterintuitive to everything that we have been taught. But the most profound thing that you can do is to just be. And I'm not good at that, but I'm working on it. So one of the ways that we can work on being is to, as we said, bring our attention to places where we are within integrity within ourselves and where we can be more deeply in alignment with integrity. And as I started to play with this, I was really leaning into this quote from Gay Hendrickson, and the book is The Big Leap, and I recommend it. It's an amazing book. But he says this, I really love this, and it might help us define integrity a little bit. Long before morality came into play, the original definition of integrity had to do with wholeness and completeness. To be in integrity meant you were whole and complete. To be out of integrity meant a break in your wholeness had occurred. Thinking of integrity as a physics issue gives you a more practical tool than regarding it simply as a moral issue. Morality is about good and bad, right and wrong, all of which are highly arguable. But physics is about did and didn't, not is and isn't. And for those of you who like to know where this is coming from, that's pages 97 and 98 in my edition of the book. All right, so let's think about this a little bit, my darlings. If integrity means to be whole and complete, what the heck does that mean? When we are whole and complete, we are in perfect alignment with our divine blueprint. We are in perfect alignment with our true selves. We are able to acknowledge, not just acknowledge, but to know like we know the sun is coming up tomorrow, right? That we are aspects of God, source, creator, creatrix, all that is, in whatever way you experience that energetic. We are able to partner with our human selves to love every bit of who we are as humans on this plane at this time. When we do that, we are able to remember our way back into who we are. And when we are in the places where we are willing to notice our actions, our words, and our thoughts, and where they are out of alignment with unconditional love, when we can do that from a place of non-judgment, and there's the trap, right? When we can do this from a place of non-judgment, we create space within ourselves. So any part of ourselves that has um, needed to hide, needed to feel sheltered, needed to even go somewhere else to feel safe for a period of time, will feel this vibration of non-judgment, of compassion and love, and can return. And then all of our beautiful being is able to come back into focus. It's like putting the pieces of a jigsaw puzzle together. When we choose every minute of every day to truly believe that we are connected to all that is, we make a decision to stand in our power as beings of love and light. We're not even trying to change ourselves. Oh my gosh, how many of us have gotten caught up in that crazy space of oh my gosh, I said I did it again. I got angry with somebody. I didn't handle that situation skillfully. I can't believe it. I've been working so hard on this. Oh man, I have to do it better. Sound familiar to anybody out there? Yeah, we all do it. Do you hear the judgment against self? We are in a place of integrity when we can notice those things that maybe we wish we had done differently. And we can love them. Just love them. That's enough to make the shift. We're really not changing anything, right? Again, remember, in the world of the quantum, energy doesn't change. It just takes on a new form. So all we're doing is peeling these layers of acculturation off of those aspects of ourself that have been covered, buried, wrapped, and shrouded, so that we can remember that as we come into alignment, come into integrity, and then walk in the world that way without judgment, with compassion, with an open heart, that we can reflect back to everyone we meet their realities, their inner brilliance, their true natures as children of love and light. And all of this sounds just lovely, but how the heck do we do this? This is hard work. And as always, we start by looking inside ourselves. And my darlings, at least for me, that is the hardest thing to do. And I've been noticing in the last few weeks that there are things coming up for me where I thought I had really looked at myself, but I'm noticing that there are still veneers and covers, places where I have not been willing to truly acknowledge the toxicity that I have held inside of me, and the places where I truly need to own, not need to, I want to. I truly want to own the things that I've said and done and the reasons I have said and done them, because it's only by doing that that I can invite them in, so I can give them a big hug and tell them it's okay, you're loved. We got this. Right? I think we need to take Gay Hendrickson's advice and stop thinking about integrity as right and wrong, right? When we stop seeing the world through this lens of either or, right? It's us and them. It's it's all about judgment. Then I don't need to convince anybody. I can simply rest in that place of my heart and breathe and love, even as, again, one of my teachers says, love the niggly bits. It's a great Australian phrase, right? Because when we are in that place of judgment, when we believe that this human experience is about being than someone else, smarter, faster, stronger, thinner, prettier, you fill in the we close our hearts down. And when we do that, we shut off the flow of energy. And when our energy is not in flow, we cannot be whole and complete. There's an aspect of ourself that goes missing or lies dormant, right? We talked about that a minute ago. However you want to think about it, whatever the image is that drops in for you, we can never be the fullness of our beautiful selves as aspects of source energy when we are in the energy of fear. And remember, fear is anything that is not love. So when we are not in unconditional love, we are experiencing some aspect of fear, whether it's greed or shame or guilt or self-doubt or anger or judgment. It takes our beautiful hearts and just smushes them. Or we will put an energetic shield up, right? I do work with tuning forks. I use a method called biofield tuning. And in that methodology, there is a construct that's called a heart shield that sometimes we have to work on and break through and break down, right? Marianne Williamson, I came across this while I was preparing for a class that I teach. But Marianne Williamson, in her book, A Course in Weight Loss, describes it like this. She says, you are not yet perhaps fully liberated from your own fear, but you are getting there. Who you used to be, you will be no longer. And who you were created to be will now shine forth. She or he or they is or are taking form inside a sacred place, the realm of infinite possibility that lives inside your heart. That just chokes me up. Because, my darlings, when we can access what she calls this realm of possibility within our hearts, then we have reached the place of being fully in our integrity. When we are in alignment with the unconditional love, with the cosmic heart of the omniverse, we can't help but radiate love. Our default setting becomes to see everyone and everything through the eyes of love. And perhaps most importantly, my beautiful soul family out there, we see ourselves through that very same lens. We notice when questions about what is right and what is wrong come up. We notice when questions about which is better or which is worse come up. And we breathe. And we let our heart light shine. And we notice that all of those concerns and those questions just kind of dissolve. Because when we exist as love and light, we don't care about changing the world Instead, our focus becomes how we can assist all beings in ascending to their highest states of divinity and love. And we understand that we do this not by judging or criticizing, not by talking about people behind their backs or trying to convince them to believe the way that we believe or to walk in the world or talk in the world the way that we do. Instead, as we do our own inner work to love ourselves without reservation, without judgment, with all our minds and all our hearts and all our souls, we are able to do that with everyone and everything out in the world. And sometimes at the beginning, it's just going to be for the briefest moment in time. And that's okay. You'll feel it. You'll have this moment where people will be in their very human energy around you, like my friend, whom I adore. And I will feel the contraction. And then I'll look at him. And I will really look at him. And I will see the light. I will see his heart, which is as vast as the universe. And when I see that, I can hold space for his journey that sometimes makes my head spin, but it's not mine to fix or to change. And what's fascinating is that when we sit and talk, and I simply hold space for him, and I tell him that I hear him, even if I don't understand, and I thank him for trusting me enough, knowing that I don't agree with him. But I thank him for trusting me enough to be authentically who he is, to share himself with me. Every single time we are together, there is a softening and a little bit more of an openness. And I'm not doing what I do to get him to soften or to change. I'm simply doing it because I see him. I acknowledge that his journey is not mine to understand. And I send him love. And that, my darlings, I believe, is where we know that we are fully in our integrity. And we notice when we're not, like when I have that moment of contraction, right? When I might find those places of myself that are broken or fractured, that I just bring them to me as I would bring a little child. And I hug them. I sit with them in my sacred heart chamber. I breathe. I open the portal within my sacred heart chamber. I either invite in the flow of diamond light, of rainbow light, of the cosmic matrix, that beautiful river of unconditional love and light that flows from the cosmic heart. I invite it to flood into my heart chamber. Or I take my little wounded self and we go and float in the cosmic matrix. Either way, as I breathe, I allow the cosmic matrix to infuse me, to fill me, to permeate every cell and every particle of my being. I allow myself to remember that I am light. I allow that light of unconditional love to transform and transmute the space within me where I am out of integrity. I'm not trying to get rid of it. I'm not trying to release it. I'm not trying to heal it. I just want it to remember that it is what it has always been, what it is now, and what it will always be, which is an aspect of me. And that is love. And if you are willing to do the work of noticing what's happening, noticing where you feel out of alignment, out of integrity, if you are willing to take that fractured and broken part of you into your heart and connect with the energy of the cosmic matrix each and every day, or as often as you can, I promise you that you will begin to feel a shift. You will begin to feel, well, you said it's not a releasing, a recalibration of the vibrations within you that are now ready to come into alignment with unconditional love. And then just notice what your experience of that is. You may feel yourself expand. You may feel something literally click into place for you. You may notice that you're not triggered as easily, or even when you are triggered, that you are able to notice more and more quickly and more easily and with less and less judgment that the person or the situation that triggered you is not the problem. It's simply a big old arrow pointing you back into yourself to help you find the place where you are out of your integrity. And as you do this, my darlings, you are giving yourself permission to choose to be differently in your thoughts and your words and your actions. And as you do this, you will rediscover the power, the sheer unlimited power that is who you are. And that is the power to be love. The more and more you sink into this reality at a soul level, the more you will deepen your connection to source energy, because it is you. The more you do that, the more your energy flows, the more your swings out of integrity will last for just a nanosecond before you come back into alignment. And when we are in our integrity, when we are whole and complete and in alignment with unconditional love, we are able to navigate our lives with more balance and ease. And that, my darlings, is what we're after, to remember that we are love. And that's how source energy sees you. As perfect, as divine, as a beautiful, beautiful being of pure love. And it is my sincere wish that you would see yourself that way. I am so grateful to each of you for joining me for this week's episode. I am Penny Starhart, and until we are together again, remember always that you are loved and you are loved.
This is who I choose to be. This is who I choose to